Da 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 da.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Topic Royale. I'm glad y'all can join us for today. We have Nicholas, DJ, Ben, and Steven here with us for our first episode. We're going to treat this a lot like that show on ESPN. I can never remember, but where you add up the points. So I'm going to be the host for this show. We have a score system here. At the end of each round, I'm going to show the score, and for each next round, whoever has the lowest amount of points is going to start us off that round. DJ, you're muted. Let me go ahead and unmute you just so you don't forget.
You can leave it like that.
But
Go
anyway,
ahead and decrease
so,
some points.
just like Ben gave a perfect example, this is not going to be one of those episodes where we talk over each other constantly. If you do, it's going to be some negative points and some muting. So we're going to get started just on a couple questions. I've given these guys the questions beforehand. They've thought up of their super well thought out responses that are going to be enlighten each and every one of you viewers.
Quit gassing us up.
Okay, so we're going to get started. I have DJ here who's going to lead us off on the first question. I'll play the question, and then DJ is going to have 3 minutes-ish to give us his response. So the first question I gave to these guys was it was based on John Krasinski's new thing. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but he's been doing a Some Good News podcast thing where he does like 15 minutes of good news, and he like asks people to tweet in at him or send him videos of some good news that they have. So that's where this first question came from. The question is, what's the best bit of good news you've heard recently? And DJ, it goes to you.
All right. First of all, I just want to say that I'm blessed to be here. Man, you got to start laughing. Blessed to be here. I just want to thank all of my friends for this opportunity. I want to thank all my sponsors, including Dr. Pepper, Apple, and Bob's Cool Gear water bottle that he left here. And to get started off, first bit of good news that I've heard during this tragic time. I was driving home today with my wife, and we heard on the radio from the news, like there's a local radio here in Newport, and there's this girl named Graceland that died a few years back, 3 years back. I think it was due to liver disease. She was going to get a liver transplant and didn't make it through the surgery. And some people, her parents in the community, started a Graceland like blessing basket, and it's where people can go in and donate if they can and take if they need. And it's just been a big hit so far, and I think it's a good way that Newport people, good people of Newport, Cock County, go Fighting Cocks, have shown just some positivity around our neighborhood in this time. So that is my bit of good news. But on that, I think it's just appropriate to go ahead and mention that, I mean, it is Good Friday. We are blessed to have a Lord and Savior who has died for our sins. And I just want to throw that out there.
Amen.
And just on a second hand, I just want to say that another bit of good news was getting to see Ben's beautiful face. I wish he would show off his baldness. So go ahead and do that for the people. All right, thank you. And that is my bit of good news.
All right, so next up, we're going to go with Nicholas's bit of good news that he has to share with us today.
All right, so mine was also while I was driving, but not with my beautiful wife because I do not have a beautiful wife. Mine was going to and fro work. I noticed going by Food City that gas is $1.59 per gallon, which a few years ago, remember back whenever it was over $3.50 per gallon, I never thought it would get it back down to $1.59 per gallon. And that is a great feeling, knowing that I can fill my truck up for $40. And that's all I got.
Love the Food City plug.
Yeah, I saw your Food City plug hat. So I'm gonna go to you next. Then go ahead, Ben.
Me?
Yep.
All right. So my bit of good news, unlike DJ's, I don't know if mine's like really good, like DJ's was. So naturally, I Googled recent good news whenever I saw the question, and I read a little story. Ying Ying and Li Li, the panda bears, have finally decided, after 13 years at the Hong Kong Zoo, to mate. Now, this led me down an interesting rabbit hole. They decided to, stop messing around. We're going to save our species. 13 years, these two were trapped in the same area. Nope, nothing. I went down this rabbit hole, and apparently, a female panda has the mating season of 24 to 72 hours. And a male panda, his libido is basically zero. So this is just great news for the panda population of America, or the world, not even America, but, it's good to know that there is a female out there that is harder to date than a human female. It sounds like panda is probably the hardest. So.
I don't think we have pandas in America.
We have them in zoos, I'm sure.
Is that all for your good story, man?
That's all I got. Ying Ying and Li Li finally tied the knot, literally.
Steven, let's go ahead and let's hear your good news.
First off, I just want to say, Ben, you're an idiot. We don't support premarital sex on this channel.
They were married.
Facts.
They were married.
Oh, they're married? Good job,
Yeah.
Link, and you.
Leslie, no.
My bit of good news is that with all this no sports action going on, I heard that there's a good chance that baseball season can appear later on and basketball season at the same time. So the whole fall semester, we'll have the Masters, college football, NBA season, the MLB, all at the same time, and that's just going to – and soccer, all at the same time, the same semester, and that's just going to be amazing. We can relapse from all this hardship of no sports for the past 3 months. It's been awful, absolutely rough. Ben, shut up.
Do you know the meaning of the word relapse?
Yeah. I didn't mean – yeah, wrong word. So that's my good bit of news. And
I almost
I
spit my
have some
coffee
more
pepper
good
everywhere.
news, if I may.
Wait, say it again, Nicholas.
I said I have some more good news, if I may.
Go for it. You have a minute.
All right. I would just like to say that I'm glad that we are all healthy and all of our families are healthy during this coronavirus time.
Facts.
And that's all the good news that I have.
Facts.
Big
major
facts.
facts.
That was a big dub right there, Nick.
We're going to stop that at the end of round one. The end of round one scores is Benjamin at 5 points, DJ at 4, Nicholas at 4, and Steven at 3. That's it.
Yes!
The end of round one.
I am kind of sad because I don't know if y'all noticed, but I had some technical difficulties and had to leave, so I didn't get to hear Nick's or Ben's, but I will review it later on the recording.
Well, you got some negative points for leaving on us because we weren't sure what happened. So,
Dang, he's still tied for second.
That's really tough that I got negative points for technical difficulties, but I'll take it. I'm going to come back from this.
You can earn it back. All right. So, since Benjamin led that round, he will answer last this next round. So, Steven, you're in last now, so you'll go first. So, this next question is about COVID, which has been going on constantly. Which sport as a whole do you believe will be impacted most by COVID-19 and why? Steven, your response.
College baseball, right off the bat. That's definitely the one that's been impacted the most, and it's going to continually be impacted the most because MLB might still get a chance to start back up later on. The NBA might get to start back up for their championship run. And, college baseball, they didn't get to start but maybe like 5 games, 10 games in their season, and that was it. No tournament, no season, nothing. NCAA did just pass that they could come back if they wanted to, if the colleges allow them and want to put up the money for scholarships, but not all colleges can or will do that, and not all players will want to come back. So they missed out on a whole college season, all their fun, all the good times that they could have had, and then it's just gone. And, that's going to be rough. So they're definitely the one that's got most impacted by the COVID-19, and that's all I got to say.
All right. Next we will go to Nicholas. What team or what sports group do you think would be most impacted by it?
All right, so I went with a different direction, not just this season, but in the long run, like multiple years down the road.
Mhm.
I said that basketball would be the most affected by the COVID-19 crisis because their fans are the closest together in an enclosed area with no fresh air being brought in except for the air conditioner or whatever, but still that air is going to get moved around, all their exhalation, if that's a word. And I just think that fans of other sports, particularly football or hockey, would be less likely to care about getting corona or any other disease that may come around in the future. So I think that basketball fans would care more about that. And I think that in some people's minds, I don't know if this is a lot of people, but a fair few, the fact that Rudy Gobert was the first pro athlete to get the coronavirus, it might connect in their minds that basketball is somehow associated with the coronavirus. I don't know if that's true or not, but some people might think that way. So that's all I got on that.
Got you.
That'd be Kentucky fans.
DJ, go ahead. Let's hear it.
All right. First off, I just want to say I appreciate the English major in the group confirming that was in fact a word, and I will be coming to you for all questions or grammar. Like Nicholas said, I personally believe basketball has been the most impacted. I, unlike him, decided to go more what is happening now with the impact. And I think basketball doesn't need to be split up between professionally or the NCAA either. I think for NCAA, I mean, you were smack dab in the middle of conference tournaments when this happened. And the NCAA tournament, as we know, got completely canned. And I think that is huge for these collegiate athletes. I mean, this is like getting into the tournament, and we have two ETSU students here right now who both were going to have their team in the NCAA tournament. And that is something that, like, players, fans alike, I mean, that is what they look forward to all season. I appreciate that. So not only do they miss out on dreams of being in the NCAA tournament, but for some of these players, it's their last chance of giving the NBA a look of what they have. Because, I mean, it's all about, like, clutch moments, big-time plays, big-time players, and it's a good way to, like, get themselves out there. With the NBA, I think we were in the midst of one of the greatest NBA stories of all time. I mean, in January, we had Kobe Bryant, RIP legend, Mamba forever. I mean, he died. It was tragic. It was truly tragic. I still remember where I was at. I was in my apartment in Chattanooga. I mean, I was laying on the floor playing with my dog. I got the news, and I just laid there for like 2 hours, like, what's going on? Back to my point, though. With that being said, I mean, I think LeBron James was going to lead the Lakers to a championship. And, I mean, just imagine that story. Kobe dies, Lakers win championship same year. I mean, can't get any better than that, honestly. So for those two reasons, I think basketball has been the most impacted. But I do want to give a shout-out to Steven on his point. I didn't really think about college baseball, but personally biased, UT baseball was having one of the greatest starts in program history. We had only lost one game. We led the nation in home runs. We were like the second most offensive, like, proficient team in the nation. So it is sad that baseball got cut short. So I applaud Steven for his point. But yeah, for me, it's basketball.
Gotcha. And then that leaves Benjamin. You got the 4.
Well, unlike DJ, I think Steven's point was stupid. There was so the sport most affected by this COVID-19 is basketball, and more specifically college basketball. Like DJ said, 2 ETSU students, ETSU won their conference championship and had a 30-win season. They were 30-4, probably going to be an 11th or higher seed. They were priming a Cinderella run, and that's what people like. That's what makes March Madness so great, and even better than the NBA tournament, in my opinion. The NBA tournament, you probably know who's going to be your final two from the East and the West. Whenever whichever team LeBron's on and whatever else. In March Madness, there's there's always chance for Cinderellas, teams that shouldn't be there, small schools, Hoosiers like runs, and I really think that college basketball was the one most affected because not only were coaches, fans, and players invested in an entire season and almost to the postseason, but for other sports they hadn't really started. Pro baseball was barely out of spring training, so it really doesn't affect them as much as it affects somebody that's already invested so much time and effort and energy. College basketball players, they've already gotten ACL tears or, they're hurt and beaten, banged up from an entire season worth of play. So I really think that college basketball was the most affected by the COVID-19. Unlike Steve.
So this was like the only question that I asked expecting an answer, and I didn't get it from anybody. Because like on the way, as soon as I got home earlier, I saw that the XFL had called it quits, like because they're not going to be able to go the rest of the season, and they already called off next season, which they had already like stilled in ads and stuff for them. Like they were doing really well until this happened, and it just like tanked them. And then I saw an article saying that like there probably won't be another like second football league to come around in quite a while due to this. So I was hoping somebody would think about the XFL just because it's like new, but it's okay that you didn't.
I literally talked to it with Bob and Jimmy like 2 hours ago. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. So I mean the XFL is done due to this, but I didn't know if anybody was going to think that. But
I thought the question was supposed to be for like years down the road.
I mean, it's just whichever way it's interpreted, like either now or years down the road.
Your opinion matters, Nicholas.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I want you to give somebody a single point from me. You take it from my point value if they can name one XFL player.
Cardell
Johnson. Dang it.
Steven got it first on mine.
Who did?
Steven.
Oh, Nicholas got it first on mine, so I'll give it to both of them.
You taking two from me?
No, I took one from you and then gave one to each of them.
Okay.
I think you should take both from him. He did offer.
Did he say the first one only, or did he say just anybody that can name a player?
I mean, that is fair. He did say anybody.
It's
Good point.
I won't do that to Ben. We'll leave it as is. So
I think I should get another point for pointing that out.
There's a lot of points being thrown around.
Okay, so at the end of that round, because Ben gave up his point, Darius is in the lead with 11 points. Nicholas, who Ben gave one of his points to, moved up to second. And Nicholas is sitting in second now. Ben, you're at 9 points, and Steven, you're at 9. Sorry, Nicholas, you're at 10. So we have DJ at 11, Nicholas at 10, Steven and Ben, you are at 9. Okay. So
that means Steven only had 8 before that. Oof.
It's rough out here in the streets.
Even from the mud.
I'm not getting no
Steven,
love.
you're so bad.
all right, this is going to be the one that's going to set us apart because I imagine no one has. I mean, I guess like with the best news one, I imagine nobody has the same answer on this, which you might.
Oh, I'm ready.
But
I'm.
well, Ben,
I think we all have the same answer.
yeah, I'll say that in that way.
Oh, I have to make sure mine's past 2010 because I may have to change my answer.
Well, too late, Ben, because you are on
Too
the
late.
spot because you're in last. So
I'm in last?
you're
You're
tied for last time.
You're
You
points
can go
away.
first last round. So
Oh, me and Steven both at 9?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. It's
Ben,
2015. We're good.
You're on it, so you can go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to quote the great Jim Valvano here in his ESPY speech after he won the national championship in college basketball, going back to my last point. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. If you watch Inside Out, you're able to do all three of these things. You're able to laugh, you're able to cry, and you're able to y'all gotta stop. All right. So laugh. There's plenty of puns in Inside Out. All right. Train of thought, there's an actual train. Okay, that's funny to me. Amy Poehler is Joy. The cast is just incredible. The dad and the mom interacting, hilarious. Okay, hilarious. Now we go to sadness. We go to crying. Okay, Bing Bong. Have you ever cried so hard in your life? They're both on the wagon. They're both going to make it, and then Bing Bong just sacrifices off that thing. I cried for Bing Bong. I still cry for Bing Bong. I will cry for Bing Bong until I die.
R.I.P. Bing Bong.
And it makes you think. She was going through puberty. She was going through adolescence. She had so much changing inside of her and all sorts of other stuff, and that makes you think.
You relate to her, right, Ben?
That's a point deduction. That's a point deduction.
I got you.
It makes you think. What would my emotions look like in my head? All right, my argument's done. That's all I got. I can't even interrupt it.
Okay. Again, good stuff. I appreciate your comment and your explanations there. Okay, Steven, pull yourself together. You have
because you're in last now.
I never said this question. No wonder people are probably like, what the heck? The question is, what's the best Disney Pixar movie since 2010? Ben mentioned that he had to check his twice to make sure it's later than 2010. But that's the question. So if you're confused, that's what Ben was explaining. Okay, go ahead, Steven.
First off, the point is worth it. So worth it.
What'd you even say?
I said you relate to her emotions, don't you, Ben?
Congratulations, Ben.
My movie is absolutely the greatest movie since 2010. Big Hero 6. Okay, the little fluffy white thing, like, come on now. It's the most best. It's like the best creature since, like, God knows how long. I mean, it's big, it's warm, it's fluffy. You get to hug it. Yeah, Big Hero 6.
How do you know it's warm?
It's in the movie. You got to watch the movie. But anyways, at the beginning, you fall in love with this little kid and his older brother. You're like, oh, they have such a good connection. I have 4 brothers. I know how that's like. Love them to death. And then you go on, and then the older brother dies. You're like, what the crap? What's going on here? Crying, emotions going everywhere. Little boy gets on, finds this recording of his older brother building this machine. This little big, I forgot, Baymax. That's what his name was. And then, they go on adventures together to try to find out the older brother's killer. Ends up being the scientist guy. What the heck happened? Whirlwind of emotions. You don't know what's happening. You know what's going, what's coming. It's just the best movie. It's funny. It's sad. Has action in it. And definitely the best movie since 2010. Way better than this piece of crap Inside Out movie that Ben pointed out. Not like a little girl movie sitting there with my stuffed doll watching it. It's big kids animation for big boys.
Can I make a point?
No, your point's over, Ben.
Oh, yeah, Ben. Wait till the end of the round. Next, Nicholas, let's hear from you.
I've never heard so many spoilers in a 2-minute span in my entire life. I will not do that in my segment right now. The best Disney/Pixar movie since 2010 is Zootopia. The reasons are Zootopia proves over and over that no matter who you are, if you put your nose down and you work hard, you can do whatever you want to do. Also, later in the movie, not a spoiler, Mr. Big, it shows the lighter side of the Italian mafia You know, everybody thinks the Italian mafia, all big bad guys, blah, blah, blah. Well, that movie shows that that's not the case. Also, it also shows how corrupt politics can be towards the end of the movie. No spoilers. But also, it also shows you that you can never underestimate the little guy, no matter who they are. And that's all I got.
Question: do you ever review to your right? Because at one point I thought you.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you did respect, but I'm not gonna have to take some points away for that.
I got my points over here to the right.
Is it your review or is it someone's?
Oh no, it's mine.
Okay. I'll believe you. Okay, I got you. I thought you read I thought you had a review of the movie to your right.
No, that's my point.
Yeah.
Did you cite your sources?
Yeah, Zootopia. Disney Plus.
Fair.
Okay, that was good. DJ, let's hear from you.
All right, so for me, I'm going to take a little bit different route, and there will be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear mine, you're just going to have to jump off for a second and come back on. I mean, Disney has impacted my life very, very big time, okay? And I can't do this without at least giving you all an honorable mention and my top 5. So I'm sorry, we're just going to have to do it. Honorable mention, Zootopia. That's how it is, okay? Next, Incredibles 2. That's 5th. 4th is Inside Out. Only watched Inside Out like 2 weeks ago, Ben. It was a great movie. And by the way, you saying that, just like imagining what's going on in your head, that would be one of the most horrific things I think anyone could watch. I just want to put that out there. 3rd is Toy Story 4. And then these last two from 2010 forward could have the single greatest impact on this generation of kids that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, number 2 on my list literally has an article named The Science of Why Your Kids Can't Resist This Movie. Okay? I mean, come on. Like, one of the songs in the movie is sung by, like, every little girl known on this.
Oh.
Okay? Frozen is number 2 on my list. Yeah, I picked it as number 2, y'all. Chill.
No, you chill. Frozen.
That was good, wasn't it, Ben? Not only was Frozen one of the first princess movies to be like in the top 10 animated movies of all time. Like, this is not my opinion, Ben. I see your face. This is facts. I'll send you the article later if you want it. But like I said, Let It Go. I mean, you mentioned the words Let It Go, and every girl on the freaking side of this planet will start singing at the same time. All right, for my first one, though, this is big, okay? Not only does this movie come from probably one of the greatest franchises of, like, our lifetimes, but it personally just tore me up, okay?
You have 30 seconds.
Toy Story 3, okay? Not only did Toy Story 3, like, just, it was a great combination of just comedy, adventure, and pulling at your heartstrings. And at the last scene, when they were going down the incinerator, I mean, tore me up. I mean, it is by far the greatest Disney movie since 2010.
I cried at Toy Story 3. I'm not even going to lie.
Technically, it was Pixar. I apologize for that, but it was in the same category. So
Disney or Pixar. That's why I opened it up in the question. But DJ, that was also the closest we've come to 3 minutes. So I'm going to give you an extra point for that, for using up all your time but not going over.
I researched that one a lot.
Well, technically, he talked about like 7 different movies.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't answer the question fully.
Fair.
I did answer the question fully.
He did.
In the last 30 seconds.
It took you 30 seconds to do the whole thing, Ben. I'm sorry that I'm prepared.
30 seconds to do the whole thing.
The rest of your time was nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's a buildup of the best Disney movies since 2000.
Since the question, he didn't ask for a buildup. He asked for the best.
Let me quote you his question. I gotta find it.
What's the best Disney Pixar movie since 2010? That's the question. He read it. He didn't say what's your top 5.
That's facts. He did say that. But guess what, Ben? It's my opinion, and I had 3 minutes, so back off.
Okay. Last question. Oh, score count.
I'm still last.
I'll let you guess who's last still.
That's Steven.
Coming in last, we have Steven at 15 points. Benjamin and DJ are at 16 points apiece. And Nicholas is at 18 points. So y'all got some catching up to do on Nicholas.
That jump, though.
Yeah.
Steven does.
Utopia got me a bunch of points.
I'm about to tell you this last one up.
You had 3 really good points that you elaborated on. They were funny. That was a good round for you. I liked it. Okay. So
Now, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
How many points did my Jim Valvano quote get me?
Like 2. Respect.
Utopia was the one that I was the most passionate about. The other 3 questions I didn't really care about.
Well, we'll see how you end your read right here in the last question. Okay, last question. Do you support the pro eligibility rules for football and basketball as they are now? What needs change, if anything, and why? So, Steven, go ahead. You're in last, so you got some catching up to do. So let's see what you got.
All right. Well, for basketball, that needs to change. That's garbage. And this is why. Because there's so many great high school players that are coming out, going to college. They're getting their bodies banged up. They're sustaining injuries that hurt them later on in the draft. And then they go to the NBA, get even more banged up. Those injuries still hang around and hurt them. So I think that needs to change. The high school can leave, but with the exception that only if they're projected in the top 15 draft picks, they're allowed to leave high school and go straight to the NBA. Other than that, they have to go to college for their 1 year. And along with that, if they do get top 15, I think there needs to be a college course for financial and economic help to them so they don't go and just blow all their money, spend it all, waste it all. But that definitely needs to change. If they don't need to go to college for that 1 year, just waste their time. Like Zion Williamson, no reason at all for him to spend a year in college. He lost money. He got hurt, still carried over to his rookie season, got the same injury again with his knee, still troubling. So that just needs to change. If they're projected top 15, they need to go straight to the NBA. NFL, 3 years college of college ball, that needs to change as well. Same thing. Sustaining injuries, getting hurt. Tua Tagovailoa, whatever how you say his name, perfect example. Top number 1 overall quarterback, easy if he doesn't get injured like he did. He was having a heck of a season. If he goes in his second year or first year after his first year, he's definitely the number 1 overall quarterback off the board. But he got hurt in that third season, hurt his stock a lot, and now they're saying he might not even go top 10. So if you get first, I think college football needs to change. 2 years after your second year, you should be able to go. There's no reason to stay any longer. You improved your draft stock. You proved what you can do. You don't need to sit there and sustain injuries like that. You still have all the talent there to watch amazing games, and all these other guys that don't get a chance, like all these people that go to small schools, the small football schools can have the chance to go to these bigger schools, get more recognition, and I just think it'll be better for everyone. That's all I got to say.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Ben and see what you got to say.
Well, I would just like to start out by saying Steven's points were trash, as always. So basically, Steven was on the right track. He just didn't do well enough to keep going right. So,
It's so sad.
Yeah, your points were trash. So you just didn't go the extra mile. So here's what I have to say about that. I do not support the current pro eligibility requirements. Sorry, I'm looking at my own notes. So I think that if you declare for the draft out of high school that you cannot attend college as an athlete until – wait a minute, hold on. My points are trash. Hold on.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, I got messed up. All right. I'm laughing.
Hey,
Too.
you
I
don't
can
know
see you
your own
laughing.
business.
All right. So basically, what should happen is, um, if you do not go to the out of high school, you have to stay in college basketball for 3 years. And so basically, I think it should be the same thing for. I don't think it should be the same thing for football. I think you need to stay 3 years because physicality is different in football. You have to have time to grow as a body, as a person, like physically, to be able to handle getting hit day in and day out in the NFL because these people are literally, built to kill you. And for basketball, the two legends that I have to reference here is Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. They both came straight out of high school, skipped college, and are arguably, you can make points that they're arguably the best players ever. For each of them, you can make that case. But I think if you go to college basketball, you have to stay for 3 years. But if you don't want to do that, you need to declare out straight out of high school. I think that needs to come back. That's all I got. Mine's the same point as Steven. I just try to make it sound better.
Okay, go ahead, DJ.
All right, so for basketball, I honestly I do like the eligibility rule. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion with mainstream media and stuff like that, but kind of referencing the same thing Ben said. I mean, 3 players off the top of my head: LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Garnett. Those 3 guys came out of high school, and they were legends. But with that being said, those are 3 like once in a generation type of players. I think to Steven's point, Zion was another one of those players that could have gone straight out of high school and had an impact in the NBA. But most of these guys coming out of high school, like, yeah, they're balling out. But we can see with, like, Josiah James for Tennessee, he was a 5-star. But you get into, like, it just depends where they've played in high school and what their actual level of play is. Because some of these guys might be highly touted coming out of high school, but they're not anywhere close to the level that you need to be for NBA. Another reason is because, as we've learned from 2K19, my player, rookie season is a grind, y'all. I mean, you're tired. You got to take care of your body, and I think it's important to, like, get into a program that you're working out consistently. Kind of what it takes to be a part of that kind of season. And then with the NFL, I agree mostly. I do think it could be cut down to 2 years. But I agree that they need time out of high school. First is, like, again, the rookie year is a grind. And having those 2 years allows you time to be a part of a program and to see that type of competition. And even still in college, though, you might be one of the best players on your team or one of the best players in your position throughout the country, but you're going against other players that are not at your level. In the NFL, you're going against NFL caliber players every single day. So to have that time to adjust to that level and to, like, know how to, like, learn a playbook, play as a team at the collegiate level, I think is a good buffer to the NFL. And just kind of add on what Ben said, I mean, you need time to physically mature and mentally mature. I just can't see any benefit of coming out of high school or 1 year out of college to the NFL because you're just going to get beat up. And that's all. Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, Nicholas, last comment, and then we'll wrap it up after you. Go for it.
All right. Well, my laptop just died, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants. All right. So I think that both football and basketball should be eligible to go to the NFL or NBA respectively after their sophomore year. But basketball should be able to go straight out of high school if you think you're good enough or if you're rated highly enough. But it should be where, like, if you get drafted, then you can't – because I know in baseball, if you get drafted, you can decline to go to the MLB and go back to college. But if you get drafted in the NBA, then you have to be required to sign with that team. You can't just go back just because you didn't like where you get drafted or whatever. But my points for football being after 2 years, I know Marshawn Lattimore got hurt after his during his sophomore year, which is the year that I'm saying you should be able to go pro after. But he should have went after his freshman year. But I'm not saying that that's what I agree with. But anyway, after his sophomore year is when you should be able to go. Mainly because, like, Trevor Lawrence would be the number 1 pick this year if he was eligible to go pro. But he's not, so he's taking the risk of blowing out both of his knees coming back and losing out on millions of dollars if he was eligible to go to pro or to the NFL this year, then he wouldn't have to worry about that. My basketball points is somebody else already mentioned Zion, but that's who I was going to mention. He should have been able to go straight to the NBA after high school because he was ready. But there's only a handful of players that actually are ready. But if you do go to college, I think you should have to stay for at least 2 years because if you go for 1 year, then you might as well just stay for 2 and keep improving. Like players such as Buddy Hield from Oklahoma a couple years ago. He needed those 3 or 4 years, however long he stayed, to fully develop, and you see what he's doing in the NBA. But there's those rare players like Zion, LeBron, whatever other names you can throw out there that could go straight out of high school, and I think they should be given that opportunity to go straight out of high school. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, very good answers to some very good questions presented by your host.
Round of applause.
Very nice. Good job.
But on the score sheet over here, we have a two-way tie for first. So last place with 23 points was Benjamin. With 24 points, we got Steven coming in third. So DJ and Nicholas, we're going to have a short little tiebreaker, okay?
I didn't prepare.
Oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
30,
Wait, how many
30
points did they get?
seconds.
Yeah, what
30
was our
seconds
points?
for each one of you, okay?
Wait, how many points do they have?
At 25.
Oh, one short.
So to figure out who goes first, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Guess,
I'll let DJ pick first.
7.
Nicholas.
6.
It was 9. Okay, so DJ, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, so here's the question. 30 seconds to answer and give your reasons why. What is the best brand of water and why? And I'll give you like 5 seconds to think real quick, Nicholas. And go ahead and go.
Short answer, anything besides Dasani.
Fact.
Long answer, Food Club Spring Water. It is the best water. Number 1, it is the cheapest water you can buy. Number 2, it is spring water, which is the best type of water. Number 3, it is not Dasani. End of story.
Wow. Just 2 ovations. Incredible.
Okay, DJ, let's see what you got. You got 30 seconds. Ready, set, go.
Poor choice going second. But, yeah, I mean, Dasani and Aquafina, people think those are popular, but they're not. They're bad for you. I personally think you just go great value, get the large pack. It's cheap. It's good. It's good water, good quality water. You can drink it when it's cold. You can drink it when it's warm. There it is. That's all I got. Good job, Nicholas. Good win.
Killed that last round. Absolutely slayed it. Oh my God.
All right,
It was a bad choice going second.
final scores. Nicholas 29, DJ close 28, Steven 24, Ben 23.
Dang, I saw that so
Ben, you
hot.
suck.
I
Thank
mean,
you all for participating. So we're gonna try this. So next time, Benjamin, you will be host. So think of some questions for next time.
No, that's garbage. He's not gonna give me any points. I'm gonna be last place.
I mean, it is what it is.
100%. I'm last place next time.
And then, Nicholas, do you want to give a speech? Anything you want to recognize anyone? Go ahead.
I would like to thank Google, number 1. Number 2, I would like to say that I was expecting to get last when this started, and I'm honored to take home the first dub of this thing that we have going on here. Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely clutch performance, Nicholas.
Very out of nowhere.
I mean, that
I
last
wasn't
round.
expecting.
Honestly, I'm really upset that no one said tap water through a Brita filter to eliminate your single-use plastics, but whatever.
Okay, let me end this real quick, guys. This is the first episode of Topic Royale. Thank you all for coming. It has been a pleasure. We are out.